Simulator rolling. Ba-boom! Oh, let me turn down my
And
sound so
we're
that my...
live now. Whoops. Hey, welcome everyone to CNC Board Game Factory. This is the episode 5 special. 5 golden rings, if you will. Or if you won't. I guess either way, you're listening to
Or
our show,
yeah,
so you
this is
have
the
to.
five because this is the first special episode. So this is the five golden rings, of because like that's like this is the break, the middle between the pitches, and so it's the one that's different.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And every pitch that we've had up to now is golden, so I mean
Yeah,
it's perfectly adequate in every single description way. There's nothing about this description or joke that has fallen flat, and therefore let's move past it and forget that this ever happened.
but this is episode 5. But actually, we've done 5 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
This is the 6th time we're going to be doing CNC Board Game Factory.
Yes, yeah. And
So,
and speaking of which, in our original episode, we discussed like the original games that we first sat down and tried to make, and they were horrible embarrassments that if ever they resurfaced, they would be absolutely just disarming to our magnanimous personalities, and people would no longer trust us as the experts of board game design that they already revere us as. So
oh yeah,
yeah. So let's make sure that nobody ever sees those original prototypes of games that we made.
yeah. Let's hope for that.
Yeah.
Oh no. Hang on, you're not catching my tabletop sim sound, are you?
I hear nothing. No.
That's awesome. It's playing that fun little jingle. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about when you open up?
Do 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 do. Yeah. Oh yeah, that thing has haunted my dream. You remember like do you still do this ever where you accidentally leave a DVD menu running in the background and it plays
Oh,
that
it's
like
exactly like that.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
totally. Because it's like just like a loop of like this totally sounds like DVD music too. It's just like some like romantic comedy. Like,
Do 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 do
all
do
right,
do.
so I'm gonna have to join you
Oh yeah, I should have
because
set
you're
that information ahead of time or whatever.
because you're the one who has the stuff.
This stuff, yes. So, we're going to be doing a few things differently today. We're not going to be going over new pitches. We'll be starting that back up next
Well,
week.
let's hang on because this we're just streaming us playing this game right now, which this will go on the video version of the cast.
Yeah.
But why don't we talk about what we're doing for the cast after we do this, so that we can use that same thing for the audio.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
we can just do it here. We can do it here too. Hey, today's a very special episode of CNC Board Game Factory. We're going to take a look back at our first 5 pitches and kind of narrow down some of our favorites today. But we're going to start by playing on Tabletop Simulator Chris's initial prototype of, initial electronic prototype
Hmm.
of. Are we calling it Fruit Smoothie right now, or is that the working title?
Yeah, fruit smoothie, I guess, would be
Okay.
good. Because salad was already taken by Point Salad, so I don't want to double down on that
Yeah,
nonsense.
yeah, yeah. Fruit cards. Okay, so what's the server name?
The server name is Board Factory.
Oh, hey, why don't you just make the server name way less complicated than that, so I only have to type like 2 letters?
Oh, I mean, that could also work, yeah.
Do you already have it going?
I do, but it's super easy to swap it out, so.
Yeah, just make it like CC and have the password be CC.
Obviously. Man, the things you never think of until the other person's required to type more than 2 letters.
Yeah, man. What are you trying to do here? Just let me know when that's ready, and I'll hop in. So I think after we get done today, I might go buy my cat a harness so that I can let him like sit outside for a while. Because here's the thing, I haven't let him out every day. Like I used to let him out every day, and then one day he got like sick. I think he was like eating some plants he shouldn't. But he's not used to being outside lately, and I don't want him to like go across the street because I moved onto this very rural street, or not rural, very suburban kind of street. However, there's kind of a decently traveled side street that runs parallel to a major street, like that I'm at the corner of, and
Okay.
people just barrel down it. It's like the speed limit's 25, and people are consistently doing like 40.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Um,
You moved. You moved.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna have like hopefully next time we do this, I'll be at like my in like my board game room, and so I'll be like right in front of like one of the shelves so you can see like all of my stuffy Euro games that I want to play.
Oh, your
You
stuffy
know what I'm
Euro
saying?
games.
Stuffy Euro games, baby. All right, so I searched CC,
Yeah, CC.
and I don't know if it found it.
Try it
Is that the
again. I
server?
try it again because I had to just
Let me
create it.
refresh the server list. All right, what we got? Hey, there we go, Chris. Now, do we have a password?
Yes. BGF.
I don't think we have a password
Oh, did you?
because I'm in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what that means is those of you who are watching can just straight up get in here and flip the table while we're playing. I dare anybody to do that. I bet Jordan Hopper couldn't even figure out if he's watching this.
I think I maxed it out at 2 people. Perchance to prevent that type of thing. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to be pink today.
All right.
Oh wait, no, I don't want to be pink because I don't want to sit on that side of the board. I want to be red. Oh wait, here I'll be blue so I can sit across from you.
Okay. So I'm gonna switch over the streaming view over to Tabletop Simulator, and this is my prototype that I've made here.
These are adorable.
Thank you.
Little Sushi Go action over here.
Well, I mean,
let's try not to get sued. I mean, you ripped the little smiley faces straight from that game, didn't you?
I just Google searched like fruit clip art, so this is by no means whatsoever like an okay for-profit prototype or anything like that. But for just something like this, like for testing out this game and whatnot, people just Google search images and paste it onto stuff all the time. So
sure, no, I love it, dude. These are adorable.
Yes, exactly. And so that's the thing is with a game like this, the appeal, pun intended, has to be there. There's the visual appeal. Cam, I learned one other thing too. At the very top of Tabletop Simulator where you have like games and objects and menus and all that stuff, if you hit Catarl F11, boom, invisibled.
Wait, it does what?
So like at the very top of your screen where it shows like the menu buttons and all the stuff on the very top, Control F11.
Wait, you Control F11? I like how you said Catarl.
Yes, thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, it hides those menu things, which is great.
You can still hit the F buttons to do all the things you want to do, like flick stuff. Oh no. Uh-oh.
What did you do?
Where'd that go to?
I
flicked those cards off the table, I think. But if they were off the table, they would show back up. So maybe they went underneath some. I don't know. You may need to reload this.
Possibly.
I'm so sorry.
All right, cool. Yeah,
So this is just a placeholder, right?
What do you mean?
Because your decks of cards are here.
Yes. Okay, so the way that Fruit Smoothie is going to work, I might have to actually reboot. Or not reboot.
Hang on. What you could do is there's a back button.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Catarl F11. Back. There we are.
Yeah.
And now I Catarl F11 again. Boom. And the menus are gone.
You know what's weird is okay, so here's the thing I don't like. If you hit Control F11 and you hover over a deck of cards, it does not tell you how many cards are in the deck.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay.
So I guess I'm not Contaroling. I don't know. Maybe I will. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe because are you streaming your view of this game?
I am, yes. So
cool.
So because this will be a secret hidden hand of cards game, I'll just ask you not to screen cheat, but that'll be fine.
Well, no, I have the Google Meet pinned just to your face.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I will not be screen cheating.
Sweet. So the game of Fruit Smoothie. This is my prototype. As we mentioned here before, Cam accidentally flicked the lime card into non-existence.
I'll do it again too, if you act up.
So how this works is, per our discussion on the episode and subsequent discussions since, There's 10 different fruits in the game, and you play with 5 of them each game, kind of like Ethnos, where you can mix up any 5 that you want. And so the top row here, the bananas, strawberry, cherries, lemons, limes, is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing a very citrusy kind of a smoothie game. And so these other ones, I'm just going to actually go ahead and I'm just going to take them out because this is, it's fine.
Okay, so we're gonna play with limes, lemons, cherries, strawberries, and bananas, huh?
Mm-hmm. So as Cam is flipping...
I like that bananas just say bananas.
So the reason for that is if you right-click and... I guess if you control F11, you can't right-click and search and stuff. Interesting. So I'm just going to show over here that all of the bananas have a value of 2, right? Most of the cards have 5 ones, 2 2s, and a 3. So all the strawberries...
You took my advice.
Yes,
and
sir.
did an all-tour.
I did an all-tour, yeah. Whereas you'll see, like, the strawberries have 5 ones, 2 2s, and a 3. Cherries and limes are also the same way. But if you look over here at the... Okay, so really quick, right? On the A side of Fruit Smoothie, what you would do is you would drop a handful of cards, and then you would play cards face down onto, or like in front of the appropriate stacks of the fruit. And if they match, they increase the end of round scoring value of, say, strawberries. If you placed a 3-value strawberry face down in front of strawberries, every remaining strawberry card in somebody's hand at the end of the round will be worth 3 points. But if somebody places a mismatched card in the strawberry stack as well, at the end of the round, after people have played enough cards that they want, we'll flip over these and reveal and see, oh no, a positive 3 and a negative 3 mean that all of this basically zeroes out. And if there's more mismatching fruit cards than matching, then the strawberries are actually worth negative points, negative 2 points in this case, for every person holding a strawberry card in their hand.
Yeah.
So that's the basic game. And so that'll be like an A-side, because I imagine that a lot of people who pick up a game like this might want like an introductory mode or something like that. But if you want to play onto the B side, most of the fruits have a special ability. So, for example, bananas are all just number 2 cards, like 2 value. So that's why bananas don't have a different A side or B side. Strawberries, however, on their B side, say that when you play cards to the strawberry stack, you play them face up. So people will
So you get to know what's going on with strawbs.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see which types of fruit people are discarding there. Cherries, because cherries comes in pairs, all values that are played here are doubled. So if somebody plays a card onto the cherry, whatever this value is, it's worth double of that. So it happens to be a 1, that means that this card is worth 2. But all doubles are valued, so positives and negatives. So high risk, high reward for playing Big Cherry. I'll go to Lime next. So Lime, you play everything normal, right? Cards face down, positive or negatives. But at the end of the round, once everybody has passed, before scoring, every player passes 1 card to their left.
Ooh. Spooky.
And then here, the lemons, this one's kind of just a B-side card. I don't think it would make sense to play normal, right? Because if you look at the deck of cards for lemons, they're all 3s. Every single one of them is a 3.
Ooh.
But the value here on the card, or the special ability says, if the value of the lemons is greater than 8, then they are worth nothing.
Is that absolute value too? So if they're negative 8?
So far, that's just positive 8.
Oh, okay.
That might not be a bad idea, though. Absolute value.
Yeah, but how are you going to get the absolute value down to 8 if every time you play a lemon on there, it's pumping it up by 3?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could happen, but why would you waste enough cards to do that? I think you're fine. We'll see. We'll see if it happens while we play test it. So, how many rounds is this game intended to last? Question 1.
My original thought would be that you could play it to a certain score. Like, a lot of games are out there, like, play round after round until somebody hits 40 points or something like that. Or it could just honestly be, like, 3 or 4 rounds. So
Here's my thoughts, and we can play test this, right? But my thoughts are this game could have such highly varying scoring, especially based on the cards you use.
yeah,
That like some games the score might get to 100 in a couple rounds, and other games it might get to 20 in 5 rounds.
yeah. So I think that a fixed round limit might work better than like a target hit this score.
I mean, that's something we can work out. Work out the kinks.
For sure.
All right. So how many? Okay. Question 2. How many cards do we get?
So we're going to go ahead and shuffle all of these decks together, and then we're each going to draw, at least in a 2-player game, 12 cards. I've only been able to play test this a few times with Wendy.
So how many total cards we have? We have 40 cards.
40
so we're going to be
cards.
using 24 cards.
Yep. So that there's going to be
Okay.
a lot of variability within
And then
that.
we take turns playing, but then you just stop playing when you. Is it the kind of thing where if you pass and then the next person plays a card, you can then play a card?
Yes, that is correct. So yeah,
Okay,
on your
so
turn you either
the
play a
round ends
card.
when there's 2 passes in a row,
Exactly.
or in a 3-player game, 3 passes in a row, 4-player game, 4 passes in a row.
Right.
Okay, I like that. Can I get my 12 card hand now?
Yeah, go for it. Okay, you drew up.
Yeah.
So the shortcut in Tabletop Simulator is you just mouse over a deck of cards and you hit a number, and then you draw that many cards. So I did a 9 and a 3, right? Like
That's
how
exactly what I did too. I think you can hit 12, but if you do it, a lot of times I've accidentally drawn too much and goofed up the thing. Like I was playing Maracaibo once, and I drew I needed to draw 2 cards and then draw 2 more cards, and so I hit 2-2, and it drew I don't know if it drew 22 things, but it was a mess. So I usually just do single number, wait 1 full second, another single number.
Okay.
All right. I wonder if there's a hotkey to sort these cards.
That'd be cool, but I haven't programmed any value to them.
Oh, I guess that would.
Did-
Yeah, they just have pictures, but I can probably manually sort them, right?
Yeah, you can grab a card in your hand and slide it.
100%, babe. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. I like that. Okay. So, you are the designer of this game, so I'd like to see you go first, please.
Sure thing. So I'm going to play out this card face down. There.
Yeah, I saw what it was, by the way.
Oh, did you? Okay, so you have to
You should flip and then drag.
you have to flip in your hand, then drag out. Okay.
Yep. What would be nice if we had a good programmer is making little piles, and then you could just click on a card and click the pile and throw it in there face down. I bet somebody could make that happen.
Oh yeah,
But-
I am proud that I knew how to make cards in Tabletop Simulator. I made all of these cards individually, and then I learned that there is a mass card upload template that you can use, and then you don't have to hit the upload import button 40, 50, 60 times.
Right.
Okay, so I started with this bad boy that nobody knows what it is.
You can pull it back and put a different one down if you want.
Nah, I'm good enough there.
Okay.
All right. Next up. Yeah, I need to remember to flip them before I before I pull them out or anything. What did you play? Sorry.
I played on a lime.
You played on the lime too.
Oh yeah, you have control F11 going, so you can't see how many cards are in the stack. But I can easily.
All right. Okay. I played another onto the lime. So yeah, so you keep playing, right? Until you pass. And the thing with this game is that every card in your hand will score points. So if you play too many cards, then you're not getting good multipliers on scores. But if you pass too early and you're out, like if you're not contributing, then other players have better control of what the values are going to be. Did you play while I wasn't noticing?
Nope, I'm going to pass.
You're going to pass.
I want to see what you have to do.
Okay. There you go. Back to you, sir.
Okay.
There you go. Back to you. Jordan in the chat saying that he'll just inform you, Cam. He'll be your informant of what cards I'm playing.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this strawberry out into the strawberry face up.
And I'm going to pass.
You're passing. And so... yeah, you know what? I'm going to pass as well. So...
okay, so we're going to pass a card to each other, correct?
uh-huh.
There you go.
There you go.
Ooh, I didn't want that one. But neither did you. Okay, so now do we start with bananas?
Yep. Let's go ahead and reveal those.
Bananas are bad. You got any banana cards?
I do not. Here, in fact, I'll just
Same.
display mine
Oh, yeah.
out.
I don't know. It might be more exciting to reveal one at a time. Okay, so I got 4 points in strawberries.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got 2 points in strawberries.
Do we have a little score pad? Do I need to make one? Here, hang on. Let me get a little score sheet out. I
Oh.
guess I can. I guess I can just keep track of score by.
Here,
Doing
I got you. There's a super cool little tool in Tabletop Sim.
Oh yeah, the little clickers.
Yeah. All right, so I have, what do we say, 2 points in
Oh
strawberries?
yeah, you made me one also. Nice. Don't forget to lock it. I'm currently at 4 with strawberries.
Very slick. Okay.
Are you done with strawberries?
Yeah,
Okay, so cherries are worth 6.
correct.
And so I have 3 cards, so I'm getting 18.
Ooh. I only have 2 cards, so I'm getting 12.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna get another 12 points there.
And I'm getting 6, or sorry, so 20. All right, and then we're each losing
8 points.
8 points.
All right.
Well, that was a good round for Cam.
How many rounds are you gonna play today? 3 or 4?
Let's do 3 and see how we feel about that. So give those a nice shuffle, shuffle. And draw yourself 93 cards, please.
I did 8-4 that time just to be different. All right, so you went first that round, so I should probably go first this round, huh?
Sounds good to me.
Let me just go ahead and organize everything here. See what I got going on with the old hand to cam.
You got a handy cam?
All right, let's go ahead and do something very cool.
Well, that sure sounds very cool. I am gonna go ahead and do.
Ooh, well now I know it's gonna be bad for whatever you're putting out. Just out there deciding. That's not how you want to do that, Chris. If you're choosing which file to put it on, it's not going to be a positive.
You don't know that. You don't know that. I've got an interesting.
You're trying to change up me, huh? I don't think your leadoff pitch is supposed to be a change up, but maybe I'm wrong.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Ooh, he's a fan of Straubs. You know what, Chris? I'm just going to come right out and say that I don't like Straubs. Boop. Eat
Ooh. It. Ooh. Well, if that's the case, this is a fancy little hand to work with.
Oops, I shouldn't be making little drum noises while I play this game.
That's fine. I'm just going to come out and say that I do like Straubs.
Okay, he's a Straub guy. Which fruit should I make awesome or screw over?
What is it? Hey! It's like the most...
Whoa, ho. Gotta let your light shine down.
All right. There we go. It's a tense, weird round, my friend. Jordan says 7 over 5 is the best way to go. Oh, so drawing 7, then 5. I get you. Okay.
All right, your turn.
Yoink.
So you just played 2, right? I'm going to pass.
You going to pass?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play one more. Back to you. Pass or play?
I'm going to pass.
Back to you. Pass or play?
Oops. Well, probably saw that.
It's all right. That wouldn't have changed what I was going to do anyway. I'm going to pass.
I'm going to also pass. All right, let's see these bananas.
Bananas.
Bananas are at 4.
4.
Oh, we didn't pass each other a card.
Oh,
Hang
shoot.
on.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
All right. And I just really screwed that up. But I knew which card I was going to pass you.
Yeah, I knew which card I was going to pass you, too. Wow.
I don't know if I passed you a really good one or a really bad one. So bananas are at 4. 1.
Down to 1. Negative
2.
Oh, no. That brings me down to 8 points.
So strawberries are worth a point. How many are you getting from strawberries? I'm getting 1, because you just passed me 1.
I'm getting 1 because I forgot about the lime. We had to pass the card to the left.
Okay, let's see if you screwed cherries over real bad here. No, you didn't. You love cherries. All right, so cherries are worth 6.
Unfortunately, I only got one.
Yeah, I only got one set of 3 cherries.
Now there's debate in the chat whether what's the best drawing methodology here.
All right, what'd
Yeah,
you do
but
with these lemons? Ooh, you didn't like lemon, huh?
I didn't. I forgot that you might pass me a lemon. That's a real lemon. Blah, blah,
Well,
blah,
it's only
blah.
it's just a -2. It's not a -6. You know what I mean?
Whoops. Takes it down to 13. All right.
All right, how do we feel about limes?
Do any of
Ooh,
us have
you don't
one?
like limes. So limes are 0. I did like limes.
Ah.
I had 2 of them, but that's okay. I'll take 0 points.
I mean, it's better than the massive amount of points that I lost there.
You know, here's the thing. Which, I believe a fruity candy when we were growing up contained all these flavors and orange, but got rid of at least one of them.
Are you talking about Skittles?
And I'm thinking Runts.
Oh, Runts. Okay.
Because Runts had lemon. I believe Runts had lemons and limes when I was growing up, but I think now they don't have lemons or limes. Maybe I'm wrong. Because Banana's their yellow one.
Yeah, but
And I'm guessing because they got rid of lime to put in that crappy green apple. I don't know what's up with everybody putting in flavors and throwing in green apple. Green apple ruins everything. All you can taste is green apple when you get candy that has green apple flavoring in it.
Oh,
Plus,
yeah.
it's the worst. It's the worst flavor out of all of them. They did that to Skittles. I haven't eaten a bag of Skittles since. I mean, the lime Skittle was so good.
I
They're like,
know.
well, we have a lemon Skittle, so we might as well do a lime Skittle or a green apple Skittle. Screw you, Skittles. I'll never eat your product again in the regular red bag. All I can taste when I eat Skittles is the green apple ones, unless I spend a lot of time picking them out. Then I eat them later, and they're okay, but they're not good.
Yeah, so basically, Cam, it sounds like if Skittles ever came to us and said, "Hey, we want to slap our theme on your little card game here," we would say, "We're sticking with lime." So Skittles Company Corporation Incorporated, you got to change green back to lime if you want to use our mega hit, gonna be selling millions of copies.
Here's the thing. I would be down with Skittles using this if the green card was lime and not green apple, and just they would know. They would know where we stood, and we can make a deal if they'll just admit. If they'll as soon as they see that clause, they're like they're on to us. Here's the thing, though. It would be the same if we did an M&M's game. We're just doing colors, and they're like, and we had red, yellow, orange, light brown, and dark brown. And then they were like, hey, could you just make that light brown one blue? And we'd be like, no! Okay, I voted every single day on the phone when I was a kid to throw blue Skittles in instead of, like, pink or purple. Because I thought that'd be rad. They never... Do you remember this? They never said they were getting rid of tan. And that wasn't even an option just to keep tan. Tan was the best M&M. You know it tasted better than the other ones.
Oh, okay. You said Skittle for a second. I was thinking that there was a
M&Ms.
I was like, what?
No, there's a
what
tan
fruit is
M&M.
tan? Yeah, no, I remember that for sure. Yeah.
And for 23 years probably. I think I was 12 when they betrayed me. I haven't forgotten it.
Now, could you imagine? Because allegedly, you say that the tan one, scientifically provable, was the best tasting one, and once the blue ones came out, everybody said that the blue ones were the best tasting one. What would have happened if they left both in?
I mean, I don't think any of them actually taste any different.
Nope.
But the blue, I think blue
You
food coloring, people say, does have a
public.
slightly different flavor. Okay, so did you draw your 12 already?
I did, yes, sir.
Okay, if you can guess what numbers I did to draw these, then I'll give you 1 point.
Oh, awesome. You did 2 and then 5 to put yourself at a disadvantage this round.
Nope, you got one of the numbers right, though. I did 7 and 5.
Nice.
Because that is 12. Okay, so here's the thing. How do we want to play this? Does the person who's in the lead have to go first, or do you just switch back and forth who goes first?
That's a good question. Because originally I was thinking that it would just pass, but
I think in a 2-player game, the person who's ahead in the final round should have to go first.
Sounds fair
Because
to
that makes
me.
them have to show their hand. Like you can just go around in a 3-player game because then everybody does it once. And then you can do the same thing in a 4-player game that you do in a 2-player game, where the person. Oh no, because in a 4-player game, you'd have one person wouldn't go first one of the times.
Yeah, so that's the curiosity is
Doesn't really matter.
yeah.
Doesn't really matter, bro.
Also,
Okay.
one small rule that I had the foresight to realize was that for sure the first turn that every player has, they have to play a card. Like
Oh yeah, you can't. Why? I think you shouldn't be able to. Yeah, pass. Maybe. And here's the thing: maybe you can't pass until you have 3 cards on the table or something like that. That way, you can't start stun locking people from the beginning. Although,
right.
if you pass and somebody just goes, "Fine, pass," it's in a good position for me. You could get really screwed. Because like, if you said pass right now to see what I was gonna do, I'd just be like, "Okay, pass."
Right.
And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
I get points for all my strawberry cards, and you get points for all your strawberry cards, and the game would be over.
Jordan says that green was the best M&M and that tan is the worst M&M. And I don't know if I agree with that.
Jordan, if you think tan is the worst M&M, you're the human equivalent of a Sprite float.
Oh, buddy.
What other candy is like purposely beige? That's awesome. I guess not beige, tan. Even better. All right, you threw something down in the lime slime.
I do. I do. I did.
I can get down with that. Let's see. I don't know if you put a bad thing or a good thing. We'll see what happens.
Looks
Because
like
I want that to go one of 2 ways, and we'll see which one it is.
boom.
Pass.
You get a pass.
Yeah.
There you go. Back to you.
Got to pass again. Once again, I will pass.
All right. Well, I too shall pass then.
Okay, let's not forget that we got to pass a card to each other this time.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. I did not really set myself up for this.
Did you make these all good? Do you only have good cards left? Because obviously, if you didn't, you'd be like, "Oh, here you go. That's the one."
Yeah, I only had good cards left. Womp, 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 wow. Bad
All right.
for
So
me.
what happened? Okay, so bananas are worth 2. I for some reason I just felt you liked bananas, so I kept 2 bananas in there,
Mm,
and got 4 points.
that you did. And I got 4 points as well. Whoa, don't know what happened there. That sweet flicking
right.
engine.
Well, you didn't mess with straws at all for me, so I'm getting 6 points in strawberries, baby.
Yeah, I handed you a straw. I didn't have anything left, so I realized, oh, crud.
How bad is this about to go? Ooh, -1. So I'm gonna lose 4 points
Sweet.
for my cherries.
That'll catch me up.
I figured you didn't like lemons when I handed you that lemon. Bless you.
Ooh, thank
Bless
you.
you again. Live. Yeah, lose those. Lose those.
Those 4
what,
points.
2? No, you lose 2 points.
Oh, that's right.
Those cherries are 1. See, that's why you should have made all of the cherries worth 2s and not the bananas. You should have doubled the banana points.
I didn't think about that. I was just like, oh, banana's fine, and it goes with like any smoothie.
Yeah, which is why you double it. Because if you use too much banana and it becomes negative, if there's no banana in there, there's a bunch of other fruits. It doesn't. I don't know. We're not trying to get thematic. Oh, I knew you would like limes. Haha.
Dang, we both scored
10
10
points.
points. Well, in a
Fruit
not shaking...
smoothie, fruit smoothie, fruit smoothie, fruit smoothie. He did it.
In a non-shocking turn of events, I did terrible. If that first round was any indication, it was definitely that I was not going to do well this game. All right. So,
It was that first round. I don't think I outscored you too much in the later rounds. Maybe I did. I don't know.
I don't remember. I think that second round smashed me though.
I thought I had like 42 points at the end of the first round.
So James in the chat said to incentivize more interplay, should piles be worth 0 if there's no cards under them? So I'm trying to think, because yeah, that would just inherently be the thing, right? That would inherently be true. If nobody played anything under bananas, it would just be worth 0, right? And so if I had 2 banana cards in hand, I'm not sure if I'm misunderstanding James's comment there, but yeah, if there are no bananas underneath it, and I'm like, ha ha ha, bam, 0 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I think everything did have a card on it in this particular game, each round. Yeah, do you have any thoughts right off after playing it?
Yeah. I think this could shape into a beloved card game with... I think it's great in this form, but I think we can make it into a real game.
Okay.
And I think because I think it's simple enough where we could really fine tune and play test it a lot. So I think it's a strong contender for CNC Board Game Factory.
Very cool.
Is how I feel right now.
Very cool. Yeah. I mean, do you have any thoughts
And also, well, let's talk about that during the cast people can listen to.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like we can talk about Fruit Smoothie for a while, like that we played it, and like what we like and would change about it. But way, because I think we can cut all this out of the audio version of the cast. But we can leave it in the live or the YouTube version. The nice thing about it though is I think we could do the art for it, because it's really simple too. Wouldn't need to get a graphic designer.
I mean, at some point we would.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
Are you saying I can't draw? Are you saying I can't draw a cherry, Chris? It sounds to me like you're saying I can't draw a cherry, dude.
I think you can draw 1 cherry, but can you draw 2? That's twice as challenging.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, never mind.
All right, shall we cut over then to the regular view, and we'll exit out of Tabletop Sim, and...
Yeah. Hey, wait. Sorry, I should have let you do that.
Bring back time. Flip. There you go. I love that when you lock cards onto there, like half the time the cards stay locked in. All right. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to close out Tabletop Sim now.
All right.
All right, so let's jump back into like the audio portion here.
Exit game. Hopefully I'm still recording audio here now. Oh, wait, I guess if I wasn't recording audio, then it's not going to matter. Or maybe it will. I don't know.
Yeah, probably won't matter.
Okay, well, I am recording. Do we want to do another clap, clap, clap before the audio portion of this, just so you can find it easily?
I mean, you've been recording the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna cut all of that out for the audio podcast version of it, and so we can just pick
I'd
up
say
now.
so.
And
Yeah.
yeah. So
Welcome back to CNC Board Game Factory. This is your host, Chris Yee.
and this is your host Campbell D'Souza.
Well, that's how everybody knows that I was lying. I'm Campbell D'Souza, and that is Chris Yee, who failed his bluff check.
Yes. My not dexterity. What is the term? Deception.
Deception.
Yeah, my deception's
Yeah.
like
I think
that.
it used to be called bluff, but yeah, it's called deception now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is episode 5 special. The
5 extravaganza.
The 5 extravaganza of CNC Board Game Factory, and we are doing a little bit different of an episode today, wherein we're going to be looking back at some of the previous pitches that we've done. We're going to be doing a couple of different discussions on the games that we've discussed, that we've come up with so far, talk about some of our favorites, and we also just got done playing a tabletop simulator prototype of Fruit Smoothie.
Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to do today. Today we are going to talk a little bit about the fruit smoothie that we just played, and what our thoughts were. Chris has obviously had more chance to mess around with it than me.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to have a special appearance from A Blast from My Past, and we're going to talk about my favorite pitch of Chris's favorite pitch of mine. And then what we're going to do is we're each going to talk about our own favorite pitches of our own as well. But I want to put it at the caveat that you can nominate your second favorite pitch of your own if the other person nominated your own favorite pitch of your own as their favorite pitch.
Okay.
That way we talk about 4 games for a minute.
All right.
And so we're gonna talk about like our 4, I would say our 4 like Simon Cowell were the judge contenders for like what we would like to see on the discussion board for what game is CNC Board Game Factory going to make. However, if there are people listening to this cast by the time we choose what game to make, we will highly value any input from people. And if there's 12 of you guys out there listening, and all 12 of you guys want us to make Fire Hose Fairies, we probably will, right?
No, hands down. Yeah, if that's
Yeah.
the challenge, then challenge accepted. In fact, we'll do it right now.
12 people is a jury, so they, so that obviously jury's never made a mistake in the history of the law. So I think if 12 people have a unanimous decision, then it's our job as the judge and executioner to judge that they're right and execute on making the game.
Yes. Everything that you just
'Cause they're the
said,
jury.
everything that you said is 100% correct, based on Hammurabi's law, and there's nothing wrong about it whatsoever.
Yeah. Speaking of not anything we were talking about, fruit smoothie.
Yes.
We have played today, which is Chris's first official pitch, which is a card game that Chris, why don't you just give us the 2-minute rundown on the game real quick,
Sure
and
thing.
then we'll talk about our play of it.
All right, so Fruit Smoothie is from episode 1, not episode 0, but episode 1 of the show, where it was the most off-the-cuff pitch that I've made so far. It's basically a card. Oh, if you want to see it, go and watch our YouTube channel. Go to episode 5, and we start by actually playing it. So Fruit Smoothie is a card game where you have 5 different types of fruits lined up in the middle. And so you might have strawberry, banana, lemon, lime, and orange or cherry or something like that. So you have 5 fruits in the middle, and those represent the 5 different suits that there are in the main deck. Most of the fruits have like some variety of 1s, 2s, and 3 value cards. You drop 12 cards, and then starting with the first player, you're going to start placing cards face down next to the piles of the different fruit. You can play a matching fruit, so a cherry, onto the cherry pile, and if it's value 1, 2, or 3, you're increasing the end of round scoring value of cherries. So every cherry card left in someone's hand will be worth 3 points now. And then the other person goes and they play a 2 value orange on the orange pile. At the end of the round, oranges will be worth 2 points. When it comes back to your turn, a you place a level 3 lemon on that orange pile, reducing, because it's a mismatch, you reduce the end of round scoring value of oranges, reducing it by 3. So you just play until every player passes in a row, and then you'll go through and you'll score each of the fruit piles. You flip over the cards that have been played face down. Everyone reveals what cards they had in their hand, and you score up. So it's a little bit of like a kind of a bluffing type thing where I'm playing cards on lemon. You might think that I'm increasing it or decreasing it or whatever, but ultimately you just score it up. And we played it over 3 rounds, and 3 rounds felt about right. So there's some of those details that we don't have worked out yet, but overall, that's kind of the flow of the game. Play cards face down until you flip them over, and then score them up. Play 3 rounds. Anything you'd add to that, Cam, that I'm missing?
No, love it. That's where it's at. I'm preparing something over here.
Ooh.
So that was one of the reasons that I had you talk about the game for 2 minutes there.
So we just played it. I put together a mod of it in Tabletop Simulator. Once again, if you're just listening to the audio version of this, then go ahead and watch the YouTube channel as well. If you want to see us actually play it, if you want to see what it looks like, I put together a very cute kawaii version of the game with, smiling happy fruits and stuff.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Dotashimaste.
Hey, don't touch my mustache.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we played it, and we have some initial thought. I've also played. I put together a little like physical card version of it and played it with Wendy a few times. So, Cam, as the person playing it for the first time today, what did you think?
I think that the game has a ton of potential. Kind of got like a Lost Cities vibe, obviously at 2 players, because the whole thing was like trying to sort of suss out what other people. I will say my favorite aspect of the game was trying to make sure that I had like something that was scoring big, but also try to tank one particular thing. If I'm giving my fully honest opinion, I think that the game has a ton of promise and that it's a really cool concept, but there's some element that is missing that would give, I think, the game enough zazz to not just be like every other game. I love what you've done with having 10 different fruits, with different, like little abilities. And I think the more of that aspect of the game that would play off each other weird, the better. So I like you had an A and B side for each card. I might even suggest that there was no like training mode of the game, but that the A side of each card was like an easy thing to deal with, and the B sides were like even more tricky. Because I don't think I would have a problem teaching anybody the difference between the 5 different things we did during that particular thing.
That's true. And even if you have stuff printed on, like oranges have an A side ability and a B side ability, even if there is something printed on both sides, if you want truly an introductory game, you just tell people don't play with the abilities, just play with the fruits.
Right.
So yeah, that's a good point. So that does require coming up with more fruit abilities, which is exhausting, but could be good. Really could be the difference.
What might make the game exciting but would change the vibe of it dramatically would be maybe a little bit larger hand sizes. Although in a 4-player game, you're only supposed to get 10 cards, right?
Something like that, yeah. I think it would be 12, then 11, then 10.
Hear me out here. Just a concept to put a pin in for right now is, what if the game, instead of passing, was a drafting game? Hear me out. And every time you take a turn, you pick one of the cards to go in a pile and one of the cards to go in your scoring. Because then in the 2-player game, you would have to have a good memory about what people were keeping, because you would get to see the hands. But then in the 4-player game, too, you would kind of create this meta where you might like start by like hanging onto a lime and making a lime good,
Yeah.
or you might start by hanging onto a lime and making a banana bad, just so people think you're keeping a banana, so they try to tank the banana, or I don't know.
No, that's a great point because this was the original concept was just like as simple a card game as possible. You're dealt a hand of cards, play it. There was definitely a moment. I think it was the first round of this of our particular play of it. I was like, oh man, I just don't think I was dealt a good hand, and I think that you were dealt like just a
Hmm.
an objectively better hand than mine. But
Yeah, and that's a thing in card games where you just have to play the hand you're dealt.
yeah,
But something about what we were doing was just a little lighter than would be compelling. And I think it's still like light enough where you could crank the difficulty by a skosh
hmm
and have it still be very easy to teach.
I'm
Uh,
definitely willing to try this drafting idea because I think that that would gamerify it just a teensy
yeah,
bit, but
and that
still
is
have that
that's
bluffing.
a thing. Actually, in two different friend groups during this COVID-19 thing,
Mhm.
playing games like online with people who don't necessarily play a ton of games,
Yeah,
probably the hardest concept I've had to explain to somebody who doesn't have a gamer brain already is the idea of drafting.
right.
People will be like, "Wait, where did all my cards go? Why did I get these new ones?" Be like, it's a very easy thing to teach in person, but it's a very difficult concept to describe if you don't have the stuff in front of you. Like, wait, you're giving them your whole hand? Why? They already have a hand. No, no, no. You give the next person the hand too. Why? Because you have the opportunity to take the card you want the most out of a set of cards, and then the next person gets to choose from the ones that are remaining, which helps ensure that everybody gets a more balanced hand of cards. Hang on, start over. And that's kind of been my experience with teaching the concept of drafting to people who don't haven't, because like that doesn't really exist in any Milton Bradley game. You know what I mean? That I
Or
can think of.
any or like Uno, yeah, or even just like a deck of card games, like
I
a
mean, the only
standard
thing I can
deck.
think of that like tons of people would recognize is the concept of passing three cards in hearts.
Hmm.
Because and not everybody who plays Hearts does that, but like the Windows 95 version of Hearts
Yeah.
always had that built in. Maybe you could turn it off, but so like if you're playing Hearts against AI's Rick, Bob, and Sally, or whatever their names were, or if you were on like a LAN party playing Hearts, you would pass three of your cards that you didn't want to the next person. So this is the backwards concept: is maybe you keep three and pass the other nine, but then it happens, So there's that's a thought I had, but I think that at its core, you're already playing around with two really fun things, which is secret bidding for scoring
Uh-huh.
and then like cards that like just different like a randomly generated scoring mechanism for each different thing. Not randomly generated, but
Player
I guess
driven
I guess I
scoring.
guess randomly driven, but yeah, but authored in terms of like what the scoring mechanisms are. It's not going to be completely random. Like you're not piecing a card together from like score 3 minus the ones that don't go on the bottom of the pile. Like the little strips of cards that you line together and slide into like a plastic sleeve at the beginning. Like those, remember those books that you get as a kid that would have like three, like there would be a book and then they like take scissors and cut like down like horizontally three ways so you could like flip and there's like different sets of eyes and like noses and mouths.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Do scoring that way. I'm not suggesting that, but I think if you found a way to like make decisions like that would get in people's heads, I think, a little more. I think it would be I think it would keep scoring tighter in a two-player game because people would like really look like, hey, what's in my 12 card hand? I'm taking these two, but they have no idea what the first card I'm taking is.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And but then like from then on, you're going to know what two cards got taken if you have a good memory. And the closer it gets to the end of the round, the better it is. Because you're like, okay, I have lemon, grape, apple, cherry. I'm putting the apple in the apple pile. I'm keeping the cherry, so he has a lemon and a grape. So if I see something going into the lemon pile, I could maybe reasonably assure there's a lemon, but there's too late to. But like, I don't know. It could be an interesting.
I wonder. I mean, I like. I know that you said the difficulty of the game. It's very simple. It's an incredibly
Mhm.
simple game. This little fruit smoothie. Play cards face down, and then until you pass, and then score them. I wonder if doing this drafting thing where you place a card into a scoring area, like into an area where it affects one of the fruits, and then you keep a second card as like a personal scoring thing. Like, I wonder how big of a step up in complexity that is, because even thinking of, like, trying to follow what you just said there, my brain started hurting a little bit. It's like, oh dear,
Well,
you're
no, but
right.
it would be a huge step up in like lifetime, like a lifetime of the game,
Hmm.
because the strategy would be much more complex. But I don't think the gameplay would be much more complex,
I'd be
because
curious.
at the core of the gameplay, you're just like, oh, well, I want to make lemons worth less, so I'm going to take this 3 card out of this draft and put it there. But then I think that there's already a good thing in cherries, so I'm going to take this 1 cherry and put it in there. I think, but like I think it would evolve from like people playing it and needing to learn the way it works,
Yeah.
but playing it easily, and then scores varying wildly, to like if the same group of people plays it often, being very strategic. Which to me, like that would be the game would need some legs, because usually if you're going to run out and be like, hey, you should get this $10 card game,
Hmm.
you've played it several times. And I think in its base state right now, and this is not a knock on the game because I think you've made something really cool here that we can really do a lot with.
Hmm.
But I'd say right now, if I played Fruit Smoothie 3 times, I'd be like, cool, I never need to play that again.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that drafting is what to do. That's just a thought. I think there's plenty of other things you could do, and I think we should keep messing around with Fruit Smoothie and keep thinking of ideas. And I'll text you my little thoughts, because I'm sure other stuff will pop into my head,
Yeah,
or
and
maybe it won't, and maybe we can get back and play it again, another time.
well, and the other thing too is that so far I've only tested this idea out with 2 players, and I'm curious if with 4 players, all of a sudden it opens up a little bit more. It starts to feel more dynamic because there's more unknown between each of your turns. So I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
I'd be curious. Maybe it's just not a great 2 player game, and a lot of these small box little card games are meant for having 3, 4 people around the table more so. And then you could have a 2 player variant, and maybe
but yeah, I think what our next step with this should be to get you and me and Rob and Jordan on like a 4-player game of this thing,
yeah, and get some other
and
thoughts.
yeah, because maybe it is great if you mix it, like maybe what you have exactly already is really good with a larger sample.
But I'm also definitely willing to tinker with it more because this is one of those hard things, right? Is like if people say don't get too married to your ideas, whether that's in a movie or a song or
Right.
whatever. If you're writing a song because you want to write yourself a song, it can be as terrible as you want it to be. But if you want to write like a sellable song, then you have to take some feedback.
Yeah, and like if there's something you're trying to say, like if I was writing a book about my struggle with the loss of my family pet,
Sure.
I couldn't cut that out of it and still tell the story I want to tell, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think we're coming at this where there's like we have any agenda with what we're trying to create. So if there's a mechanism you would think would be really cool that doesn't work, but the game would be cool without it, you don't have to keep that mechanism in, because at the end of the day, like creating a good game is probably more important because you can always revisit mechanical concepts
Oh yeah.
the next time you do something.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that just from a lot of designers, and one of the cool things about Twitter, as much as Twitter can be a dumpster fire at times of one issue or other, is that game designers are just on there talking and sharing ideas and stuff so very freely, and a lot of them talk about this idea of just don't get too married to your idea if you're trying to commercialize something. If you want to write a book you know, where you process the grief of losing your family pet or something like that. Like you do that. But I that's a really good analogy because my fruit smoothie card game has no symbolic importance to me.
Right.
I want to make something that will ultimately sell. I want to make something that people will look at on the shelf of a store and say, "Well, let's buy that and let's have some fun together," or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's card drafting or random, hand of cards play them and stuff. I just want people to have fun, and so whatever way makes the most people have fun, I want to listen to that feedback because that it's the truth. When you said oh it has a lot of promise, I see these issues with it. My heart sank just a teensy bit, and I thought, well, I mean, this is also something I slapped together in like a concept I slapped together in like 10 minutes. So I should
But
feel
here's the thing.
disheartened.
I don't think it should. I don't like. I think that it's better to. I think it's better to have a concept that shows a lot of promise,
Hmm.
than something that's like bulletproof but just isn't fun. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. So anyway,
So
I'm just sharing my human condition of like, oh no, I wanted everyone to love my game like right away, but that's just not going to happen. So I value your feedback, and I think that there's some tinkering that can be done here to make this more fun.
yeah, and I mean like any game, man. Like especially if you're starting out, like I think if people tell you they love your game right away, either you've created an incredible game or they're not being honest with you.
Yeah, and
And
the odds of
I
you,
don't think the first one happens just because.
yeah.
So, yeah. So, should we get into the second portion of this thing today?
Do you? Or when are we going to be doing the surprise that we promised
Right now,
people?
I'm thinking. So, when I was moving, I actually found the the we used a glue stick to make cards for this baseball game I talked about in the first episode, on Magic the Gathering cards. So, here we have an equipment you can put on called. So the player board had spots for a training card, one or two equipment cards. I think they had the room for three equipment cards because this particular equipment is a cleats, which means that you could not outfit your players with more than one cleats card.
Obviously.
Right? So you have multiple spots for equipment. So yeah, so here we have a training card. What this card would do here in this game. So it cost $1. There you go. And it would make it so that you got 2 extra re-rolls every time you did defense. Because, we got all the time in the world. Speaking of all the time in the world, here is a specific C card. I don't know what C stands for. Oh, commerce. It's a commerce card. So you have one spot where you can put a commerce card. Here's your image consultant. Now, we did some flavor text on some of these cards. This one says, first things first, you might want to put some makeup over those prison tats. And this is insane that I thought this was a good idea. Here is the effect of this card. You discard this card that you bought to restart the entire current baseball match you're playing against somebody. But in my great wisdom and fairness, it does say may not be used after the final roll of the game. So can't play the entire thing again, just 99%. Here we have an example of a pitcher. So here's his stats. His name is Spike. He costs $3. He has a pitch. He gets to roll 4 dice when he pitches. Now your team would already have a pitching pool, but maybe like 5 dice. So he gets to add 4, and now you're rolling 9 dice. When he gets to pitch, by the way, you have to have a rotation, so you have to have multiple pitchers. He every 9 or higher he rolls is a strikeout, which takes a dice out of the batting pool for the other team, and he gets to thank God he gets to re-roll one of his dice too, just to try to get another strikeout.
So for people that maybe have not listened to the pilot episode because it's labeled pilot episode, this is
Right.
this is your 18-hour long baseball simulator.
Right. That was meant to be played by like 8 people in one sitting in the course of like 2 to 3 hours. Now, a game like this could be tight in legacy form, where you just play one match against another person every time you sit down to do it. But at the time, let's say 2009 or 2010, horrible idea.
Yeah, this was you're supposed to play like a whole season of baseball, right? And like switch tables amongst the 8 players and have a card whose effect is restart this entire match.
Yeah. Well, here's a good one. Here's a personal event. So there were between every round you would draw a personal event card and a community event card, an event that would affect everybody. Here's a personal event card. Go to jail. One of your equipped fielders has to go to jail immediately. He must remain in jail until you roll 3 dice of the same value during any rolls in any game. During any of your rolls in any game. Once this has been done, the fielder may be re-equipped during the next upkeep phase. Of course, I decided that wasn't quite friendly enough. So it does say that if it doesn't work, if you can't get them out after 3 games, you get to get them back.
3
So, if you don't roll doubles 3 times in Monopoly, that was a little tip of the hat to Monopoly there. Here's an illegal training card called Trippin' the Runner. And so they have a less of a chance to get on base. But that card says illegal. Sometimes the commissioner would show up and take, like, you'd get in trouble if you had illegal cards. Here's an example of an upgradable hitter. This is Bubba. He's the man because he gets to add. He costs $8 and he adds 1 dice. He makes it easier for all of your guys to get a hit, and he gets a little extra defense. And also, if you get him upgraded, it says ability. This card may be equipped in any training equipment or commerce slot, meaning he could go off to the side and just be like your designated hitter on the bench there, not taking up any of that valuable fielding space. Here's some more.
Wow.
Here's some more. Here we have some really nice flavor text. T-shirt cannon, and here's a flavor text just says ka-chunk. So, and this. So basically what this one would do, because a game could go into extra innings, the T-shirt cannon, if the game goes into extra innings, you can spend $1 to increase all of your stats by 1. So, because shooting a T-shirt would have that effect.
Ka-chunk, baby.
There we go. A cool logo. It doesn't matter if we win as long as we look cool. And you get to treat your away game income as home game income with that. For income, and you also get to treat losses as wins, because I remember we had a little math problem you would do when you were doing an away game. You would get less income than your home game income, and if you got a win, you would get more income than your loss income. So,
oh my gosh!
Or no, sorry, yeah. Here's another one. Here's Cue Ball. He's a first baseman. He costs $9, so we thought this was a really good ability because during your batting roll, you can change up to 3 hits just into home runs. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, I just grabbed a handful of cards out of these. Here's the cards for the game.
Oh,
so
my
several hundred cards. There's a lot of what am I trying to say? Like reprints.
Just
specialization training.
What was
here you go. Specialization training. All of your equipped fielder cards that give a bonus to batting dice amount give you 1 extra batting dice or die. So not only are you already doing the accounting on your board, like, oh, I have these 3 fielders. This one gives me another batting dice. This one gives me 2 more batting dice. I actually have this card that says that, so now I get 2 more batting dice because 2 of these guys give me an extra batting dice if they give me extra batting dice. I remember playing games like this because, like the very American-style games where you have like a little board where you pimp out like what's going on, like your exhibit, and you have like a slot everywhere. How many times were you playing and be like, oh, I forget that I could re-roll my green dice if they're under 2.
I have ionic cannons, guys. Before this battle even started, I was supposed to be able to get 3 pot shots before.
Yeah.
So can you just take out one of your submarines? Like
exactly. So that's there's some cards from Baseball Aroma. Here we go. Here's Mega Huge Stadium, and it says Yo Stadium is so fat when it sits around the house, it sits around the house. And since it's a huge stadium, you get an extra $3 because more people can show up there. Oh no, sorry. Yeah. And then also, if you're playing a home game, the opposing team has a harder time hitting home runs. So the way you would get equipment too is you wouldn't know what was coming up. You could they would pull 3 out, or you could take one from the top and decide whether or not you wanted to buy it, or something like that. This was maybe the worst game ever. So There we go. For those of you who listen to me talk about the baseball game my friend Eric Johnson and I made, there we go. I don't know if I have anything else. Like, I'm sure we could go through this for an hour and I could find just examples of terrible game writing. Just stuff that makes the game. Look at this card. Look at what's going on here.
Oh.
So that's one card you add. This is a designated hitter named Viper. By the way, we came up with great names for these players. Ability. During your batting roll, any dice that are not home runs may be re-rolled. Any dice re-rolled this way are only counted if they're home runs. If you level them up, it's exactly the same, but you get one extra just free point that game. So, yep. So yeah, we made. There's a guy named Rashad. That's a pretty good name.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
It's and my favorite part, so in our pilot episode I also talked about Pizza Aroma, my first board game design that I came up with, which was, 80% Settlers of Catan and then 20% Settlers of Catan but with pizza,
80% Settlers, 20% Pizza, 5% Aroma.
and the part that cracks me up the most, my friend, is that we were running competitive pizza businesses, and I could never lock down the theme whether you were opposing pizza chains or whether you were all
part of Pizza Aroma.
Whether you were all part of Pizza Aroma and you wanted to be the best pizzeria so that you could become the new corporate manager of Pizza Aroma, thematic deal, whatever, right? But you could perform illegal activities against your rival pizzerias, and you would have illegal activities sit out, and they would rotate each round depending on how severe the illegality of it was. Illegality, that's the word of it.
Illegality.
Italicized.
Illegalitarianism.
So if you performed a level 3 illegal activity, you'd have to have it rotate 3 times, and if an audit card from the event deck was flipped over and drawn, then you got dinged for every illegal activity you had still sitting out in front of you.
That's so funny.
And isn't that amazing, man? You and I both came up with practically the same idea of...
Is that you're going to get a boost for doing illegal stuff. So here's the thing. This is what maybe we should have a theme episode where we do a pitch, and we each do a pitch where we try to make a game where you can do illegal stuff, but it might not pay.
Okay. All right. So maybe that can be a theme.
Let's put one in the nog. Get that in the noggin.
Yeah. I'm down for this. So, thank you so much for pulling out your 700 cards that you glue sticked together on top of what I can only hope are Magic the Gathering land terrain cards or whatever.
We got a Piston Sledge. Here we have a card called White Sun's Passage. I think they're all commons.
That would be my guess. That even 10 years ago, my
friend Tom Reniker gave us this huge box of just a bunch of cards he was never going to use again. And actually, near the end of the development, Tom kind of came on to do a lot of that with us. And I think me, Tom, and Eric, who I call Easy Jeezy, so me, Tom, and Jeezy, I think sat there probably, printed out 30 pages that were each held 15 cards, and cut them out, got an Elmer's glue stick. By the way, what kind is Elmer supposed to be, a bull or what?
I don't know. Is he a cow or is he a horse that they cut the hooves off?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't know, man.
It is a ubiquitous creature, though. I know exactly what the Elmer's glue stick dude looks like in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Here, let's take a closer look.
The dedication to your craft, my friend, to make such a game.
They've updated him. He's for sure a bull. That's not what he looked like when we were kids, though. He was a little bit less.
He was more goofy looking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, can you imagine the CEO of Elmer's being in the boardroom, these kids don't know what Elmer is. Somebody get our graphic designer in here. pounding his desk.
Make him look more like a spike or a viper or a cue ball.
Okay, so last time we were on a video call, my nephew Calvin decided he was going to show up and be like, "What's up today? We're going to show off my fat cat Megatron," who just showed up, decided to tell me like, "Hey man, what's going on? Can you play with me?" And now that I'm holding him, this is like he is definitely not into it right now.
That's a large cat, my friend.
He loves me enough to like not be super mad that I'm doing this, but he definitely doesn't want me to be doing this right now. Hey, I think I'm going to go to Petco when we get done with this thing and buy you a harness so I can let you go outside, but you can't go wherever you want. He had a little kick spring off of my chest there. Get me down.
All right, so thank you so much for pulling that out. Oh man, I desperately love terrible game ideas. They just bring me so much satisfaction. Like,
isn't that why we're doing this podcast?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's almost like watching. You ever watch like a YouTube compilation of like the worst answers on Family Feud ever?
Oh yeah, those are great.
It's exactly. I mean, that's exactly what it's like to look at someone's early game ideas and be like, I thought this was a good idea. I thought it was a good idea to repeat an entire baseball match because I had this card that I could discard or whatever. So, wonderful.
That's it. That's the one. Hey, I paid $8 to be able to do that. Can we take 20 more minutes to make this game much longer? And also, you won fair and square, basically, but I had $8, and I had the opportunity to buy this card, but you didn't. So let's just roll them again. Oh, you still win? That's cool. I had another image consultant. Yeah, now's I think the time. I think we can spend 5 minutes on each of these, chatting about each of these games, and have made a really good podcast today.
I think so,
or less. But let's just do the thing where we talk about first your favorite pitch of mine, my favorite pitch of yours, and just give a quick overview of the pitch again from maybe the original conceptualizer. Talk about what we could look at in the future with it, and then move on, because I think we'll be right at an hour if we do that.
I think so. All right, I'll start.
You want to go first? Should I? Okay, you're going to start.
I'll start.
What's my best pitch so far?
I think that it's so hard because your last two pitches have been my favorites, but I am going to go with Cam and Chris's Color Cube Factory.
Wow. Okay, see, so now I get to talk about my actual favorite pitch. Awesome. I'll do that later, but there you go. You didn't nail my favorite pitch of my own. So,
okay.
Cam and Chris's Colored Cube Factory. So the concept of the game, and I was really kind of working on, my brain was in two places that particular day.
Yes.
That is a game where you are collecting parts for your factory and cubes, and then you send them through like transmogrifier combiner machines to make different colored cubes, and the types of cubes you put out can be used to complete like orders for points. You can sell them for money. You can maybe utilize different colors to like upgrade different attributes of your factory. But the main concept of the game is the flow of putting two things together to make something new, and figuring out the most efficient way to do that with the limited space you have and the limited amount of time. So why was that your favorite pitch?
I mean, for one thing, obviously, you and I gravitated a lot towards. I think we have a lot of similar taste in games in general. And while I love small card games, and while I love some games that involve like a little bit of bluffing and stuff, like sometimes, I definitely absolutely love the idea of like running a factory, like those very dry kind of mechanisms of like place workers out and build something and run stuff through the thing you build, and you've built an engine or whatever. I love engine building more than I love bluffing, more than I love small card game type of stuff. So it definitely speaks to me the most in that sense. But also I just think that I find it serendipitous that I had thought of an action driving mechanism a few days before, and was struggling to find what concept to marry it to. And then your cube factory idea was really solid. The idea of running cubes through and upgrading stuff and transmogrifying and duplicating and replicating cubes and stuff. and you were a little bit unsure of like what should the action driving mechanism of it be. And say, what about
Well,
my
actually,
thing?
yeah, but really quickly, the one thing I wasn't really most sure about was should there be a spatial component to the game, and
Hmm.
that's in the air. But yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that is so neat.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
mean,
why don't you explain that mechanism real quick? Because I think that was a really cool idea.
so the idea is that there's six spaces, six give or take or whatever, and each of them are different actions. So you place a worker there, and at the end of the round, you'll go through and you'll take all those actions. Right? You have 8 workers, so you put one in one, one, two, 1, 5, 5, 6, or whatever. Right. So at the end of the
Hmm.
round, everyone who's put workers out into the spaces triggers all the action number ones, get coins or something like that for every worker you have there. And you'll do that for all the spaces. But the other thing you do is that there's a majorities element to it, where like there's a special factory tile in the number one space, and so whoever has put the most workers in space number one gets to grab that benefit, that bonus tile, or like an employee or a machine or something like that. And so that is one of the big ways that you upgrade your factory is you get really good tiles that way. But there's also like basic tiles you can buy, like anything that's like smash 2 level 1 cubes into a level 2. Like
Yeah.
you can always buy like those types of things for your factory, but these like are specialty tiles that you're kind of doing a majority bidding on while you're doing your worker placement.
And actually that combines. And I didn't say this when we were. Once I got to think about it, that reminded me of this. But I didn't really say this because I was like ready to like go enjoy Fourth of July with like extended family I haven't seen forever, and then like immediate family that I haven't seen forever.
Yeah,
Because of COVID-19, and it reminds me of a smash up of two of my favorite board games. Well, I say favorite board games, two games that I think really highly of.
hmm,
One that was my favorite board game when I first got into board gaming, Puerto Rico, is that you have like a role selection where everybody who wants to gets to do that thing,
hmm,
but the person who got that action gets to do it a little better.
mm,
Mixed with the my favorite aspect of game that I think is awesome, Rising Sun, where you know what's available, but you have a limited amount of resources and you have to allocate them secretly, and then like whoever wins gets like the to be the winner there.
hmm,
But it's like a mix up of the two of them because you're just getting like the Puerto Rico-esque bonus for allocating the most guys, but and it's kind of like Dungeon Pets too, because that's how you do them in Dungeon Pets also.
I
Except for
haven't played it.
Dungeon Pets. So Dungeon Pets, it's the same thing where you have amount of workers,
Hmm.
and the most workers you put somewhere still only take the action once. No. Sorry, Dungeon Pets is different. You allocate groups of workers together and then like unfold the thing, and then if you have like 10 workers and you have a group of four, a two, and nothing else, your two fours are going to go before any groups of three, and then after the
Mm,
groups of three, and then there's like an initiative order. So like my group of four will go, and then it's around the circle. The next group of four, 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 and so I think you're kind of putting all those things together, where
interesting.
like you may get to do more stuff if you separate your workers into small things, but you're not going to get to do the best version of those things pretty much ever.
Right.
Or you can like go really heavy into doing a couple big groups so you can get like the best of something. But then you have the mind game of like, I think Chris would like to do this thing I do. How many people am I really willing to risk to get this? Because if I put 5 guys up there and he puts 6, that shoots my plan. So maybe I'll just go under and try to figure this out a different way and just
Right.
let him get it. Plus, I think he's going to put 6 guys anyway, which will hamper him. You know,
Right.
I think it's a beautiful, beautiful concept, and it could make this game something really cool. So I agree that that's a good pitch, given I think made much better by your suggestion of that type of thing. So on the horizon for Colored Cube Factory, as we're looking at it, my thoughts initially are how what's gonna be the function of the different types of cubes,
Hmm.
and how do you set up an economy and upgrades and orders, as well as what are the pieces you're going like what are the actions going to be. And I think
Right.
those are the things that we need to look at. Anything you think we need to stick on the wall, or can we move on to the next game?
No, I just think that it was a great pitch. It's tongue in cheek, but also part of that idea when designers say like don't get married too much to any particular idea. That includes like themes. When people are like this is such an excellent like, I absolutely love this theme of like making computer parts in a factory, and I'm designing all this to be very thematic. And a company's like, I want to publish the game, but it's going to be about tortoises.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
fine.
Yeah.
So Color
So
Key
there we go.
Factory, fantastic. Some company wants to theme it whatever they want. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay, so Chris, my favorite pitch of yours, I'm going to cheat a little because my favorite pitch of yours was Fruit Smoothie. But we
Really?
already talked about that, and I think, well, and here's the thing. Here's why it's my favorite is because I think that it is the game right now that we would have the easiest time making nearly flawless,
Right.
and it would be something that would be not super expensive to publish, and it would be something that I think we could pitch to nearly any company that makes games, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we have 8,000 small card boxes in the
In the old warehouse.
yeah." So like I don't think it's the kind of thing where you'd have to be like, well, it'll be here from China when COVID-19 is done,
Yeah.
you know. So there we go. So that's why that was my favorite. But I want to talk about one of your other pitches because we're already moving with Fruit Smoothie.
Yeah. It's kind of yeah.
My favorite pitch of the other ones, and it's close. I think you've given a lot of good ideas so far, but the one I want to bring up is the fantasy game, like the RPG style game, where each of your characters has a vastly different way that they play. So you want to give the quick pitch on that game real quick?
Sure. I like that you said vastly different.
Oh, because it is like vast. Didn't even think of it. Yeah, there's a pun for you.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And so yeah, this idea was that it's a cooperative game where everyone has a different fighter of a different type. So one would be like a mech who has a very mechanical worker placement board in front of them where they place out things and they'll level up, and then on the round that the person wants to pull off that particular worker, then it'll take that action. So kind of the longer that you level things up, the bigger of an action that the very mechanically wrote mech will take. Whereas there's a sword fighter who has left and right cards, and each round he combines two of them together, and they make a combined effect. And then, however strong they are, there's a different cooldown number on them. So then that combined thing has a cooldown time of 6. So it'll be 6 rounds until you get those cards back. Another combination's weaker, but has a cooldown time of 2. So 2 rounds you'll get those cards back. And then the third one that I had come up with so far was a wizard who is playing a solitaire Mancala game where he's moving beads around, and then either wherever he pulls the beads from or the bead lands, he can fire off that particular spell. And there's a little bit of a refresh mechanism because, like in Mancala, there's that big pool on the side where gems end up every time you go around, so you have to take some sort of refresh action. So, and then yeah, so basically you would go through and fight a couple dudes on a map, and the bigger hope would be that there'd be like an RPG story and some like decisions with branching outputs and stuff. But the core of it is essentially you'd have a couple of unique different fighters all playing asymmetrically but cooperatively.
I think this is brilliant. I think that the draw of the game would be, like we talked about on the cast, if you want to go back and listen, having a really cool branching story that you couldn't hit everything one time through. I think that having quite a few different types to choose from and having them all be really fun would be a thing. And here is my thought about it that I've been thinking about since you brought the thing up that I want to pitch today.
Ooh.
That it would be very cool if you had a difficult to play character, and he wouldn't be the character wouldn't be the one that I think new players would ever want to choose, but somebody who's bringing new friends into it might find really fun. So maybe it'd be like the Kickstarter bonus. Maybe it would be something you order like in an expansion, but it would be a character that is purely support that plays differently based on the party composition. So it takes so if you're playing with like the fighter, the wizard, and the mech, you have like a big set of components, and you set up your board based on that party composition, and they all interact with each other in like a similar fashion, like to like smaller versions of how they act together. So you might have like these little like a little Mancala thing going, and then basically like what you're trying to do is when you complete different little tasks for each one of those, you never directly influence the enemy. You're like going to give little buffs to the other characters with the things you're doing.
That'd be interesting. So you can't just run the board and be like, I'm just gonna attack everything.
No, like
You're
your
literally
whole
there to
thing would
support.
be you would be like a smashed up puzzle of like all of their three styles to give them little boosts. And like what you would be doing is like you would choose like who do I need to boost right now? Like you would maybe have like a little healing component. Also, uh, but not like the same because you would want a character that had like a healing component that you, like if you played like a cleric you could like you maybe have like two different things, like two different tracks you're working on, and one is to like cast off healing spells, and the other one is to like do like blunt damage, you
Mhm.
know, or like damaging spells. But I think this one would be like it would always have like a little component that could, because the goal would be is like I for this character is, I mean anybody could play it, but the basic idea would be like my three friends are going to play this campaign that I've already played, and I'm gonna do this thing that like helps them, and
It
maybe we'll crank up the difficulty a little. I don't know,
it'll
but
facilitate them having fun without me having to feel like, I'm gonna be the fighter again, I guess.
but like you're not gonna be the showboat, but you might actually secretly be having more fun than everybody else because you're dealing with something that was like Frankenstein together. That could be really cool. It could be really crappy too. I don't know.
I don't know, but I love it.
So that was what I was thinking about today when you were saying think of your best thing, and I knew we were going to talk about fruit smoothie already, so I was like think about so is that my favorite pitch for a game I'd want to play? Yes, but my technical favorite right now is Fruit Smoothie, because of I think it would be very smart for us to make a game of that level of complexity versus a massive um, campaign RPG. So
Yes.
anyway,
Yeah.
all right. So since I took two of your five pitches, feel free to just use one of your pitches again if you want to talk about which is your favorite, because I screwed you over there. Um,
Fine, man.
Anything we want to stick on the wall that we didn't talk about for your
Epic fantasy
yeah.
game over. Um, I mean, yeah, I think the thing is that currently it's lacking a fourth unique character to begin with. Um, and so like there's just so many obvious things that it needs. The biggest of which is how do you run the AI of the opponents? Do you have hex map, or do you have a grid, or is it just going to be do you remove all of that completely and just make it kind of like card based enemies to kind of simplify things? And there's
I think that there's a lot of ways you could do it, and I think the most common way is enemies just have an order of operations
mhm.
that they'll do, and then like maybe they have like one or two attacks, and you could very easily like maybe enemies have three different actions they take. Like they always will move if they're like a melee type enemy.
Yeah.
They'll move to get in range if they're not, but then they'll stop. And then you maybe flip a card that's like A, B, or C for, and then you just do that for each enemy. And so for like the undead priest, it's like A is like heal one of the minions, B is like cast curse, C is like, and then you just have a description of each thing on the card, but you just need an A, B, and C card to flip, to shuffle up and flip
Mm.
for each set of enemies. Or maybe each enemy, maybe you write the game so that like the A actions kind of work together for all enemies, the B actions kind of work together in the C actions. So like that way if you have like a caster, it might cast like a buff spell, and that would be like like the wolf card C action would be like to charge and attack, and that would let all of the enemies do like two more movement that round, and so all of the C actions for all the baddie enemy, like the melee enemies, would be to like move and attack. I don't know, but I think that would be probably the way you do it, right?
That sounds really cool. That if every enemy had an A, B, and a C, or A, B, C, D action, because one of the thoughts that I had was to keep things interesting. you could have, if you had this ABCD series, you could have three A cards, BCD. And then once you go through all six of those actions, you
Oh, like Gloomhaven, yeah,
or whatever, right? You then remove an A being
yeah,
like the weakest one. So now you have two A's, BCD, then you remove another A, and then you have A, BCD, go through that again, remove an A, B, you know what I mean? So it just becomes this
yeah.
increasingly tighteningly difficult series to fight against.
And I think that's cool. And what could make it neat, like depending on how long the battles were, is you could draw a unique card for each different enemy, or you could just set like if you wanted the battles to be longer, like would a session of the game be comprised of several small battles or one big battle?
Probably one big, just to make
Yeah.
it easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you could have like four A's, two B's, a C and a D, and like or there's a four A's, a B, C, and a D. Now would you remove an A card every time, or would you just remove a card at random?
Like my particular idea would be to remove an A, and that A attack or that A enemy thing is like the simplest, is the weakest, so that
Oh,
it's kind
sure.
of it's a natural ramp up to kind of
Oh,
recreate that
yeah,
like
because you're saying you go through all the cards and then you remove an A. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So because like when you play a Final Fantasy game or like a JRPG or whatever, like you defeat a big boss halfway through, and then he's like, surprise, I've got a second form. You're like, oh, son of a gun,
Yeah,
you know. So
yeah, yeah.
so
Okay.
cool.
Um,
That's a
so
start.
I think we're like at an hour now for the cast. So I don't think we need to add add things that make you go on the back of this. What's your favorite pitch of yours?
And in a very funny way, it's the exact same order that you said. Fruit smoothie first, because it is just a pure idea. You know, it's simple.
Mhm.
If I think it can be managed to be made very fun and very interesting, whatever form it takes. Our playtest today of it was, it showed some promise and it was fun. I also got smacked around badly, so
Well,
will
your
is
boy
will that
is a fruit boy. You can't bring the fruit to Cam and not expect for him to dunk on you.
so yeah. I love that there's a few things that we can work with it. Do we make it a draft? Do we make it something different, whatever? And I think it's just going to be a lot of fun in terms of the design space.
Yeah,
um,
and I don't think you really think about too many components until we've played it at four or two, because we could find that we're having a ton of fun with the play at like three or four players,
yeah, exactly.
and,
Yeah.
and then you just have a two-player variant. Um, I don't know.
And then my second pick, like, because we already discussed Fruit Smoothie, would be that epic fantasy game. Literally everything we just talked about it. So, yeah, I think that you and I are on pretty much the same page there.
Okay, so give me what's your third man, and let's just talk about it for 2 minutes
Um,
out of the three other games.
I mean
I get to pick from four, so it's easier for me.
yeah, well the Korean 100 Day Party, like that card game. I really love the idea of it. Like thematically, it means a lot to me. It's a little more personal. You know what I mean? This is the family
This
dog
this is
aspect
this
of
is
it.
the one. Yeah, this is the one where there's aspects you couldn't change, but the theme. But I think you could change gameplay, and it wouldn't matter.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
as long as it worked with the theme, right?
hmm did you? I totally forget. Did you pick your own favorite yet?
Of my own, no, no, no. But tell the people about the 100 Day Party game,
Oh yeah, yeah. So the
and let's just take 2 minutes, and then we'll do 2 minutes on my other favorite.
so
So
the concept of the Korean 100 Day Party game would be that, this is a traditional Korean celebration when a baby turns 100 days in good health. That's usually a sign of a happy, healthy, prosperous life. And so it would be, in my hopes, a Ticket to Ride level multi-use card game where you collect different cards and you can play them of some, like, to some degree or other, where you're trying to make sets of the different symbols that represent a successful 100-day party. The key feature would be a shared track in the middle with, from 0 to 100, and maybe it goes by 5, maybe it goes by twos or something like that, or where players are playing cards there that would represent the number of rice cakes eaten, because you're supposed to eat 100 rice cakes, have 100 different people eat your rice cakes to represent, longevity and stuff. And so that would be kind of this timer for the game, I think. And then while that's going on, players are also playing different cards to represent food offerings to traditional deities, and collecting sets of yarn and string, so the represent long life and stuff. Different types of foods, just like the celebratory aspect of it. It would be a very fun, harmless theme, and it would be significant to me personally, because that's something that's a tradition that my family has carried on. When we're not very traditional Korean people, we wear shoes in my house. So
Yeah, I think that's really cool, and I think the theme is really unique, and I think that when you have a theme that's really cool like that, that can add a lot of weight to a game. Games like ability to like be a cool game, especially because it's oftentimes the kind of stuff that lends itself to really cool art as well.
yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so there's that. Um, and then I'm going to talk about my favorite game of mine that for just a minute,
I'm gonna
and
make a
I have
guess.
one. I have one final thing to do at the end, but okay, it's really close between two. And actually, Colored Cube would have been my third man. So, what do you think my two favorites of mine are? And
Ooh.
and I'm just going to talk about one. I'm going to talk about the one that barely edged out the other.
Okay. My thought for your favorite is going to be your Galactic Council game.
Okay, what did you think the one that was close was?
And I think the closest one would be the worker placement game where there's the mainland phase and then like the island that you're kind of constructing and
Yeah.
colonizing phase.
I actually think that treasure hunter game could work in this modern era, and I really like the idea of like racing to go get like to figure out puzzles because I like puzzles.
Is that
Um,
your number one?
that's my second man. My third man is Colored Cube, and then the fourth. But here's the thing. I'm a narcissist, so I really like all my own ideas. I
Oh,
even like
sure.
Fire Host Fairies.
Oh, I love
Uh,
Firehouse Fairies. Yeah.
but but I'm also a supporter, and I really love all your ideas. So, uh, but yeah, the Galactic Council game. My idea was a game for like a 4X space opera strategy game that has all of the aspects of, let's say, Twilight Imperium or Sid Meier's Civ, but everything is incredibly light except for the negotiations and voting phase is extremely robust. And so we talk. You can go listen to the cast, but we're getting near the end of the thing here. Basically, you would have a very robust set of agendas you were trying to like that. You'd have like some secret agendas. You would have like an open agenda. You could maybe even have different politicians that you would set at the beginning of the game, or maybe certain times in the game that would give you like abilities that would be related strictly to like voting, and it would be a like voting and convincing game. Uh, where you like can make promises to one another, kind of ally up with some, no like alliances in the game, but like, hey, I'll try to help this pass if you help this pass, and the whole meat of the like the whole subtext of the game would be about like colonizing planets, collecting military, having wars, trading with one another, upgrading technology, but they'd all be very simple. Um, it would be like really simple, and a lot of the stuff you'd be doing would be based on like the agendas that you're trying to push. That would get you points, and there would be a significant amount of in-game scoring, and there would be a significant amount of the end of game. Like, here was my agenda. The final thing I want to talk about is, generally speaking, each race would have like one of two secret agendas, or maybe one of three, which you would have a little cheat sheet, and so you would actually know what people could be going towards with their secret agenda, because that would get you a lot of your points at the end of the game. But if players were like close to the vest and made a big push at the end for those particular things, and like set up the game so they could do that, it would allow for a lot of like, haha, I got you. You thought it was this the whole time, but it was actually this. Because there would be plenty of ways to like near the end of the game probably like make doing certain things more difficult. So, any comments on that, or was that a pretty good?
No, I think that's a good description of it. I mean, and that's what makes me so excited about it, despite the fact that it sounds like a game that's not up my alley. Like Color Cube Factory, up my alley.
Totally up your alley, yeah.
Yeah, this one is like stereotypically not what I love in games. Is that negotiation and that talking and that, hey, if you help me pass this thing, then I'll do this, whatever. But like when it is the point of the game, when it's the driving force of the game, and it has some mechanisms around it to kind of structure it. That sounds really, really intriguing to me.
Okay. I want to end the podcast today with I had a very idea for what I think is a very good idea for a game mechanism um, while we were talking, and I really don't want to forget it, so I want to memorialize it on this cast so that hopefully my next pitch can include it, or maybe your next pitch can include it.
All right.
I want to make a game with a scoring system where you're doing this. Everybody is collecting, let's say, 3 different colors of victory points at the end of the game. Let's just say red, blue, and yellow cubes or
Sure.
chits or whatever that denote points. Okay? And you get to see what people are collecting as they collect them. And maybe occasionally you get a secret one or two. But they go behind a screen or face down. You're also collecting victory score conditions for red, blue, and yellow victory points that come in single point chips, which are also kept secret. And the way you win the game at the end of the game is starting with the player who has the highest initiative and ending with the player who has the lowest, because that would be a thing that you'd be jockeying for the end of the game, is you get to reveal one scoring agenda, which is you go out there and everybody pays 1 yellow chip. So, like, I flip a yellow agenda, everybody pays 1 yellow chip. Then the next person goes, oh, everybody does a blue, and you all have to pay a blue point. And you're kicked out of the game when you cannot meet an agenda. So even if you have 15 green points, if you have you have 15 blue points, if somebody plays a yellow agenda, you don't have any left, you're out. And you have to stop playing agenda chips, and you're just done. And then it just goes it's still in the initiative order for the people who are left. Hey, red, okay. And maybe there's 5 colors, I don't know. But the whole thing would be you have to collect like a kind of equal amount of points. And if like somebody's collecting a lot of green, you're going to assume they're collecting a lot of green agendas. So you want to have enough, but then you also want to get enough of something you think you could knock them out with.
So
Do you get what I'm saying?
I'm mostly following when you say that somebody gets knocked out. Are you saying that like they don't win, like auto
Yeah,
lose?
it's over. So basically you just have 2 resources. One is a supply, the other is a demand.
Okay.
So you have a supply of red, blue, green, and yellow, let's say. And then you have demand chips that are red, blue, green, and yellow. And at the end of the game, you take turns playing, here's a red demand, and everybody has to play 1 red supply. And then the next person from their privacy screen goes, here's a yellow demand, and everybody has to play a yellow supply. And what you're going around in a circle is doing is you're trying to deplete people's supplies. And so as soon as somebody plays a green supply and one of the players can't fill that,
oh, okay.
then they're out and they don't get to play any more demands, and everything they had left over in supplies doesn't matter.
So demands is the chips and supply would be the cubes.
Yeah, let's just say that.
Yeah.
So there's that. Basically, there's your 2 different resources you're collecting over the course of the game, and it's not a points ending. It's really just a last man standing, but you just do it at the end of the game.
So the cubes, because the cubes aren't points; they're what you're putting in order to be able to stay in longer.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is like, it's not like too much of a social thing, but like if everybody sees that you have way more cubes than them, but a lot of them, like they know you haven't gotten many blue cubes, they can get a lot of blue supply, and then I can go blue, blue, blue. Maybe like table talk wouldn't be allowed, but everybody just notices that one person's doing better. Obviously, you can't take table talk out of a board game.
Right.
Like somebody could still be like, well, I think he's collecting a lot of red ones, but it wouldn't be like, there would be no negotiation, like I'll play a blue and you play a green.
Right, and then we'll take out Cam.
Yeah. But I think that'd be a neat way to do an end of a game, don't you?
That would be interesting. That would be quite a challenge to make. And I don't know. Like it would be a challenge, or what I mean by that, I guess my thought is what it would be a challenge to pair it with a game, so that the game feels worthwhile and people at the end wouldn't say like, oh my gosh, I spent 4 hours playing this heavy Vital Lacerda style game.
No, it wouldn't be a 4-hour game.
But would it be a 30-minute game?
It would actually be like I think it would be like a 30 to 60-minute game where most of the game was just like collecting colors and like on like, so you'd maybe like, I don't know if you worker placement or just drafting or action selection,
Right.
whatever. It's just like you're just getting like the stuff, but it's all behind a privacy screen. So like you can kind of like sort of keep track of what somebody's doing a lot of, but you
Right.
can't exactly keep track of what's really happening. And I mean, obviously, it would benefit the person who gets to go first when you place the thing out. So like there would be some kind of component where like maybe when you take like an undervalued action, you get to boost it up so that you're like, and there'd just be a track, and at the end that would be the order of who plays in what order. So that could be the whole game.
Yeah. No. And so that's that's the point. Is obviously it would not be a 4 hour,
No.
slugfest, and then
That wouldn't be like the scoring objective for a massive Euro game. I
right.
was thinking more of like that's the mechanism of the game, is you're collecting these supply and demand, and people see what you're collecting, but they don't get to see what you have. And then at the end of the game, you go around and play demand, and everybody has to supply it. Another cool thing is the demand chips could all be different, and when you play a demand, they could have, you know, 4 spots on them, and then like you need to play the game with at least 3 people, but you could have like the 4 number listed, and it could be like yellow, yellow, red, blue, and like I put it out with a blue one, so the next guy can play a yellow, and then the next guy can play a yellow or a red.
Hmm.
You know, like each demand chip has like a mix of colors, and some are all one color, some are split, some are all 4 different colors. But when you play the demand chip, you put the first cube on it, and then everybody fills it up. So like, maybe if like I have more reds, but I want to play the green there because I think that Joe has even less green ones than I do.
Right. So I want to put one out that has reds and greens on it, facilitating me putting out red. But the other red will probably get eaten up, and then Joe will have to put out a green.
Yeah, and actually doing something like that would make it less table talky too, because then you couldn't really communicate like we got to get him to play all of his yellows because like people are going to automatically do what's best for them, and it like evens it out. I don't know. You could do one way, you could do the other.
It's interesting.
I think the first way would lend itself to like quiet gaming and just speculation, but like the other way would lend itself like more to like people who want to game everything, because it
Yeah.
would be harder to game like complex demand requirements.
That's something to work with. Yeah, I was thinking just a very simple, like, if you have red, blue, yellow, black cubes, you also have matching chips. So you'd put out like a black chip. Everyone has to put in a black cube or something.
Yeah.
So
And that was the original thought.
yeah,
But
exactly.
then,
Go both
but then
ways.
it's like, well, if you wanted to make it more complex, you could put out a demand that has 2 blacks, a red, and a blue, and the blue is a 4-player only. So in a 3-player
Right.
game, you just need to get 2 blacks and and then the person who puts the demand out gets to cover one first, and then you go around in a circle, or maybe an initiative order, or I don't know. But anyway, that's my mini pitch for the day. We're already at an hour 15. Do you want to do a mini pitch today or no?
My mini pitch for today is a game about 2 robots that you control with little joysticks, and they have to punch each other until one of their heads explodes. So
Would it explode, or would you be able to put it back on easily?
no, Legacy.
Legacy.
Yeah.
Just the first knockout punch just cracks the plastic.
Yeah, we'll
How
call
much?
it Punchy Punchy Bot Fight Legacy.
Punchy Bot Fight Legacy. So what you have to do is it's a big box, and you have to go get a new robot out for the next game.
Exactly, and they're life-size robots too, which makes it.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I
this is
mean,
going
the
to
box
be
is huge.
this is going to be the highest funded Kickstarter in history.
Well, Chris, congratulations on making a more expensive game than Rocky Road Miniature Golf. It only took you 5 more episodes. You're just trying to make Rocky Road Mini Golf seem attainable, aren't you?
You caught me. Yeah, I'm guilty of certain things, and that's one of them. Well, I think this is fun. I like your pitch. I like your idea more than I like Punchy Punchy Bot Fight. And
Really? I think Punchy Bot Fight has legs, but well, the robots would have legs, right?
of course, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
All
Well,
right.
awesome. So here's to 5 episodes, Clink. we did it. I think we have some actually really cool concepts that we could work on, and so let's try to make our next 5, and maybe these will be our final 5 for the first round of CNC Board Game Factory.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe we'll come up with better ones for the next half,
We'll see.
and then we'll have the America's Got Talent style elimination process after that. So
Good luck topping Punchy bot fight.
yeah, there you go. Well, and these are mini pitches. Like, if they want to be full pitches, we have to like come up with concepts for them for the. So what I'm saying is, feel free to use that concept. I'm gonna feel free to use that concept. I'm gonna feel free to take punchy bot fight, some of those aspects into my next pitch. Such as maybe a 8,000-pound box that gets delivered on a freight boat from China, and just has these 2 giant joysticks you're like pressing the top on to make the thing punch. Maybe the bots are bigger than people. All right,
Perfect.
dude.
All right, man.
Well, good podcast.
Good indeed.
Yeah, I need to now that I'm getting into my new place, I need to get a little recording set up so I can get a outro for us. I played you the song. There is a song. I just have recorded it onto my phone and it's terrible. But I think it works.
I think so. Yeah, I'm excited to hear it for sure. I mean, I'm excited to finalize.
To hear it in not crackly form.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, good episode. Anything else?
No, man. I think that's all. Thanks everyone for listening to CNC Board Game Factory. And if you have ideas and stuff yourself, you can go check out our Board Game Geek Guild or our Facebook group or us on Twitter, and we can just chat game designy typey stuff. So
yeah. So until next time, what do we say do we say anything at the end of the podcast? Your name is Chris. His name is Chris. And that's it.
That's all. My name is Chris.
And that's all, my friends.
Did I mention my name is Chris?
Yeah. Well, I'll just hit stop here.